Welcome to Living Chassidus. Together, let's live the Chassidus we learn.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Chassidus in the morning. 15 minutes to Mitzvah Hashem, change our lives. Hana for Rosh Hashana. Okay, basically, we'll just do the recap of yesterday's class, and then we'll go to start, and then we'll continue. So we said like this. It says in the pasuk in Yeshaya, it says, "Dirsha Avayi Matzeh, search out Hashem where He is found." And it says the Gemara explains, Rosh Hashana, what does this mean? What is this referring to? This is referring to the 10 days between Rosh Hashana and Yom Kippur. So the question is, what does it mean, the 10 days between Rosh Hashana and Kippur? Between Rosh Hashana and Yom Kippur is only 7 days. So therefore we say that the pasuk is trying to teach us, and the Gemara is trying to show us, there's an aspect of Rosh Hashana that's connected to the Sesed and Tshuva, to those days of Tshuva. And there's an aspect of Rosh Hashana that's above 10 days of Tshuva. Its own separate union. And ultimately, we started to talk about that level that's above the Sesed and Tshuva, meaning the essential idea of Rosh Hashana, which is the higher level of Rosh Hashana, which is ultimately that we should take God as King. We say in the davening, we say, say in front of me words of kingship. No, that should rule over you. Meaning, it's like the story we said, that kings came to rule over a country, and they said, listen, first tell us what your laws, and then we'll see if we want you to be a king over us. And so he said, no, it doesn't work that way. He says, first choose me as king, and then I'll tell you. Seemingly we think to ourselves, why not? What do you mean? Like, I want to know what I'm getting myself into. But when you do that, you're making it transactional. Meaning, I don't care about the king. I don't care about the relationship I have with the king. I care about what I have to do. What's like between us and Hashem. It's like imagine saying to Hashem, listen, tell me what the Torah and mitzvahs are. Tell me what's my reward and punishment. I'll figure it out. But the point is, what we're saying is, in Rosh Hashana, there's an aspect, there's a level, there's an idea of Rosh Hashana that it's about. It doesn't matter about the rewards, about the punishments, about what I have to do, what I can't do, and I can do. It's about having the opportunity to have a relationship with Hashem. And this is sort of what we're saying. Before you're talking about Tshuva, before you're talking about the Torah mitzvahs, First, let's build the relationship. So that's all we're talking about. So this is essential Veda of kind of God as King. We take as Atzmusa Yisbarach, the essence of Hashem, which is above all the Giluim, all the revelations, above Torah mitzvahs, above Tshuva. That Tshuva is even higher than Torah mitzvah. Torah mitzvah is about doing the rest of Hashem. Tshuva can even fix up. You did things against the rest of Hashem. But here, what we're talking about from the Chuni Aleichem is really the Atzmus. Again, Ad Atzmus Barach Atzmai Gefishahu L'Mayla Koglim, as Hashem is above all the revelation. So what we're saying is, which is a wild idea, that in Rosh Hashana we're reaching a level above everything. We're expressing, essentially what we're saying is that we are expressing the essential connection that a Yid has with the Eibishter. Not the connection that he has with the Eibishter, but the Torah mitzvahs. Not even the connection that we can build with the Eibishter, with Hashem, because of the tshuva that we do. Above all those things. And that's what we're reaching. Just a quick story, and then we'll get into it. So basically, someone told me yesterday, beautiful story, that was the guy comes to Slichus, it's an old country, comes to Slichus, trashed. He's gone. Can't walk, can't stand straight, barely daven. And he's standing there, a little like wobbly. So his friend comes to him and he's like, what's going on, man? What happened? What happened to you? How are you so drunk? And so the guy said like this. He goes, I'll tell you. He said, in the beginning of the year, I was, the year started, and then suddenly, unfortunately, my wife passed away. So when his wife passed away, he was very unhappy about it. He said Hashem, take my wife, so I'm going to take something away from you. I'll take away tefillin. I'm not putting on tefillin anymore. Then, a few months later, his cow passes away. He says, God, you take away my cow? I'm taking away kashrus. I'm not going to keep kosher anymore. And then a few months later, suddenly his chicken dies. And he's like, take away my chicken? Done. I'm not doing Shabbos. I'm not keeping Shabbos. And now he doesn't put tefillin. He doesn't keep kosher, doesn't keep Shabbos. And then, like, through all this time period, this crazy year that he's having, his neighbor gets into a huge fight with him, and he's not talking. Him and his neighbor not talking terms. And he goes, and as the year comes along, sun's getting near the end of the year, his neighbor comes, knocks on his door, and he opens up, he's like, yeah. He says, what do you want? So the neighbor goes to him, I want to make peace. I'm sorry, I didn't like this, let's make peace. He brings him a bottle of mashka, and he says, come, let's say l'chaim. He says l'chaim, and they hash it out, and they get, they figure the differences out, and they go back to being friends. And then, then a month or two later comes Slichus. And as about to start Slichus, this guy comes and he goes, you know what? I think it's time to hash it out with God. So he sits down, he goes, Shem, I want to hash it out with you. Come, let's say l'chaim. I want to make peace. Takes the cup, pours l'chaim, and he starts talking to Hashem. And he goes, and now here, I came. And I think this is a very beautiful story. Now, of course, I'm not condoning this person's lack of mitzvahs and things like that. But I think what the person had was a real Hashem, a real Ibishter. Meaning Ibishter was so real that he discussed with. Unfortunately, what he was doing is like when you're in a relationship. Unfortunately, I hope people don't do this, but you sort of you want to get someone. Get the spouse back. The spouse does something not nice to you, so you do something not nice to them. So that's an unhealthy relationship. It's not a smart way of doing things. It's not a proper way of communicating. But we see here that he saw Hebrew was real for him. Anyway, so this is sort of what we're talking about. We're talking about it's above the Rosh Hashana is about that making that real connection, that real relationship. It's above to a mitzvah. It's above even a tshuva. Let's see. Gimel. So in Gimel, we're going to talk about like this. We're going to talk about now the name Rosh Hashana is not just a stammer name, but it's very meaningful. And ultimately, Rosh Hashana, which is the head of the year, the head explains this idea on these three levels: the level of Torah, Torah mitzvahs, the level of tshuva, and the level of etzem. In the head, we see it this way. Let's see. Shem shenikra kach Torah. A name that is called such in the Torah ain't a shame heskemi. Just whatever fits. Shem shehuskam b'tzura stam. It's just like stam got a name. Let's get a name. It's like in the beginning of a parsha. What's the parsha's name? Parsha's lech lecha. It's because in the beginning of the parsha it has the word lech lecha. It's not. It doesn't work that way. Torah is meduik, is everything exact. Everything in Torah is exact. If there's a name, the name really synonymizes and really encapsulates the idea of that parsha or that Yom Tov and things like this. Ela mevata es chayus hamuhus shel the essence of the idea. That's what it shows on. Hanikar b'shem zeh, that's called with this name. Therefore, b'shem Rosh Hashana, in the name of Rosh Hashana, the head of the year, Nirmazim ha'inyanim hamurim, these ideas are hinted to. Rosh, the head. So what's the head? So Rosh, Makil, B'Seicha, the head has three aspects to it. You have as Hamahus, Hayisarin, Shel Rosh, the advantage of the head by itself. The Ma'alim Kol Ha'ivarim, above all the limbs. And then you have the second level, Boy Kalul Chayus Kol Ha'ivarim. The head includes within it the Chayus, the life force for all limbs. Has use our brain that helps makes our body function. And the Gimel, the Rosh Manhig Es Kol Ivarim Gam And the third level is that so the second level is that it has within it the chayus, the life force of the whole body, and the third is that it rules the body, and then it's through the head. Your brain tells you what to do. Kachu gam Rosh Hashana. So to these three aspects. The aspect of one, which is that the head is head and shoulders above the rest. The two, that the head includes within it the chayus, the whole body, and three, it manhig, it rules, and it runs the body. These three aspects we see in Rosh Hashana himself. This idea of Rosh Hashana. Of course, the three ideas of Shuvah, of Torah mitzvahs, and of Etzem. And you can think for yourself while we learn this, which one's which. See if you can guess. So how is it? Echa, Aleph, Avodah, the Rosh Hashana, Mitzad Atzma, the Rosh Hashana by itself, which is Shitam Mechulei Aleichem, this highest level, that we should crown Hashem as King. Hamagia, which reaches Ad La'atzmus Yisbarach, the essence of Hashem. Kana, like we said before, so he B'darga Nailis, this is from the highest level, Milhi Yois, Be'erech La'avodah Shal Kol Yimei Shana, in comparison to the avodah of the whole day, all other days of the year. And then they have the second level, which is avodah at Shuvah, the avodah of Shuvah Rosh Hashana, which is Yesh La Erech V'Kesher im Mitzvahs Gezeres. It has a relationship and a connection with the mitzvahs, with the decrees. Aval He Nailis Mehen, but it's above the V'Hi Kol Klal V'Kelas Kulam. It's like the general and includes within it all of them. And then the third level, Hashpa shel hachlata teva, the hashpa, the flow and the energy that comes down because of the hachlata teva, because of the good hachlata, the good deed that you took upon yourself in Rosh Hashana, al kiyam mitzvahs, al kol shalom, fulfilling mitzvahs throughout the whole year. He kamoi rosh hamanig esa ivarim. This is like the head that rules the body. So you have three levels like this. You have the head, that's head and shoulders above the rest, which is like the atzmus level. Then you have the head, as it is included the chayus, all the ivarim, all the limbs, and this is the avodah of tshuva. And then you have the lowest level, which is the head as it runs the body, which is the Torah mitzvahs. So let's see. So then we see here in Eis Gimel, we're seeing how the name Rosh Hashana really shows and encapsulates these three ideas. Dalet. Rosh Hashana, it says mitzvah sayim shofar. The mitzvah of the day of Rosh Hashana is with blowing the shofar. Lefi ha'amus, according to what we just said, move on. It's understood. Sheshloisha avodah shel Rosh Hashana. These three levels of avodah Rosh Hashana, which is Torah mitzvah, is taking achlatzes in Torah mitzvah, doing tshuva, and the highest level, which is that we should crown Hashem as King. These three ideas, it is Rosh Hashana, Mechulei Aleichem. The fear Alma move on Shishosh Avodas Rosh Hashana, these three Avodas Rosh Hashana, which is Shtam Mechulei Aleichem, Tshuva and Kiyam Mitzvahs, Yeshnam b'Mitzvahs Hayuim. It has all these three aspects. Also, we find it in the Shofar itself. V'hadavar b'chol ha'inyanim she'v'pnus ha'Torah, and this idea that in Mitzvah Shofar it includes all these three aspects. We find this is hinted to in Nigla, not just in the Chassidus. This idea, because people that know Chassidus, they think of Rosh Hashana as just about a Yom Din, Day of Judgment. Chassidus is showing us such as a Day of Judgment, but it's a day of crowning Hashem as King, which is an even deeper level. Like I said, this is a level of Atzmus. So the Rebbe is saying, and this idea that we're talking about, that it even exists in the Shofar, and not just that, you can find it in Nigla there. So I'll tell you outside today, and tomorrow we'll get into it. So it's a very interesting idea. Basically, what it says is like this: in Rambam, when he talks about the halachas of shofar, he doesn't talk about the idea of tshuva. And where does he talk about the idea of tshuva? In Hilchas Tshuva, he talks about the blowing of the shofar. So the Rebbe asks, like, why is he putting it there? It should be halacha of the shofar. And you find in a different halacha, which is about like tahara in the mikvah, it talks about it in that place, and those are other place. And then, so he says, why? So why isn't not the halachas of the tshuva aspect of shofar in Hilchos Shofar? and also the level of Tamlichuni Aleichem Shefer is not there. So he says because in Hilchas Shefer is talking about the halachas. So the halacha of Shefer is like the low level of Torah mitzvah. You have the mitzvah of blowing the Shefer. Then in the halachas of tshuva, it hints to it. It talks about the blowing the Shefer because it's like a remez, like a hint. And the highest level, which is this etzem, the etzem inyan, Rosh Hashana, it's not even hinted to in anywhere in Rambam. And yeah, tomorrow we'll go through it and we'll see it inside. And what we're showing here is this idea of these three levels of Rosh Hashana that exist is found even in the Nigla. Just to have some practical takeaway is that on Rosh Hashana, if you're going to come, we're going to sit there and imagine if you don't talk about this idea of Tamlichuni Aleichem, Kran Hashem is king, you come and sit there and the whole Rosh Hashana you're talking about I'm a good person, not a good person, I did the right thing, didn't do the right thing, and I'm sorry for I want to get in trouble, I want to have a good year, please forgive me for my sins, which is a very transactional level of a relationship. But if you're having a proper relationship with God, it's like if you don't, it's like you're a worker 9 to 5. They go, listen, tell me what I need to do, tell me how much you're going to get rewarded, and that's it. Whereas on Rosh Hashana, we're trying to reach a deep level. We're trying to sit there and have a relationship with Hashem. We're trying to realize that it's not just about my profits of my relationship with Hashem. And if I do good, I get all this reward. If I don't do good, I get punishment. But ultimately, what we're saying is that the essential aspect of the day is that I want to be connected to Hashem. That's we say in davening, we say in Darshan Meiri, we say Acha Sha'alti Meis Hashem. There's one thing I ask from Hashem. This is what I'm asking for. Shivti Beveis Hashem. We want to live in the house of Hashem. I'm not saying I want to have rewards. I want to have a good life. I want to have Gan Eden. We're saying I want to be with you. And this is the deepest level of a relationship in general and specifically with Hashem. But ultimately, this is what we're asking from Hashem, and this is what we're trying to work on. This is what we're trying to meditate on and think about. That we want that idea to be real by us. So when we're davening and we're thinking about Hashem, we're not thinking about all the Torah mitzvahs we did and all the things that we're lacking. And it's more than that. We're saying, Hashem, I want to be with you. I don't care about the Torah mitzvahs. I don't care about the rewards of the Torah mitzvahs. I don't care about my mistakes. I care about you. I want to be connected with you. And that's all I want. That's my one request. Let me be with you. And this is what we do when we blow the shofar. That's essentially what we're saying. That's this ultimate level. It's above everything. And once we do that, and we really say it and really feel that, so then we have to sort of have the other aspect of Rosh Hashana, which is the Aseret Shemei Tshuva aspect of Rosh Hashana. Say, hey, listen, God's like, I appreciate that. I appreciate the relationship. I appreciate you want that. And, I also want that. But, that year, you did some things that weren't so nice to me. You know that I like Torah mitzvahs, and you never did Torah mitzvahs. It's like, why you treat me like that? But before you have that discussion, you first have to have that build of a relationship. And this is sort of the avodah Hashanah. This is Tamlichuni Aleichem, that we have to realize that the only thing we want that we have to express and reveal in that what's deeply inside of us is that we have this Acha Sha'alti. We just want to be connected to Hashem. Everyone should have an amazing, amazing day, and the Mitzvah Hashem will continue tomorrow.